they briefed us on some stuff that was.
These are sports betting farms.
We have found more than 20 UFOs or UAPs.
Control the world is going to be the alien invasion.
What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of Around the Web, where we take a look at strange and mysterious videos from all over the internet that'll definitely get you questioning what reality really is. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, join the family, and maybe we can get to the bottom of some of this craziness. Also, I want to say thank you to all the supporters and everybody that subscribed and joined the team already. I just wanted to let you guys know that because I haven't said it in a few episodes. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Watch all the way through, and I'll meet you on the other side. This is Around the Web. We're having earthquakes this frequent, this massive. It's kind of scary. What do you guys think? Because this is unusual.
An autopsy revealed that Joe Fell's cause of death was hanging, and his manner of death was you know what. When I'm sure a lot of you are aware by now, he clearly mentioned in many videos, might I also mention, that if he were to die, he did not you know what. Literally nothing about his death makes any sense to me, especially how his girlfriend reacted, which if you didn't know, she said this: Joe Fells has left this earth and has finally found his free. What the fuck does that even mean? See, Joe wasn't just some random person, okay? This motherfucker was a truth seeker that had been collecting rare, sacred, hidden, and lost editions of old and ancient book. He was literally in the process of scanning and uploading them as a free source on the internet. But just a couple of days before he was expected to do so, he ends up dead. And not just dead, but dead by something that he clearly stated he would never do. Thankfully, people are now going out of their way to collect this source material and upload it themselves. This is information that will alter your perspective of the reality around you.
Something is fishy about this entire situation, because he said specifically that he would never do that to himself, and that if he ever ended up, the government did it.
Is Lockheed Martin behind the infamous Tic Tac UAP that set the world on fire a few years back? Well, in a recent interview, Representative Eric Burleson says that he's been in contact with someone who claims that the U.S. has developed a new type of propulsion, and that the infamous Tic Tac, it's not alien, it's ours. He even said that this person has videos of the first, second, and third versions of the Tic Tac craft, and that he's seen a photo himself. And Burleson's exact words: "It's nothing like I've ever seen before." Check this out.
I've had two people come to me that say that the Tic Tac is a Lockheed Martin creation. The latest person that came to me says he has video of the first, second, and third iteration of the Tic Tac, and he's going to show me. I did see a photo of, and it looks like pretty advanced military craft, like a plane, but it's clearly human made. It's nothing that I've ever seen. Our military has.
The implication? Lockheed Martin might be behind this tech, and that means we've had it for years.
The Tic Tac went from the ocean level to 30,000 feet. Yeah,
scientists just broke a law of physics that scientists literally believed was unbreakable for decades, and it quadrupled the energy output. So basically, China just built a reactor that recreates what happens inside of our sun. It's called EAST, and it's short for none other than the Experimental Advanced Superconducting Tokamak. Okay. It's able to heat plasma over 100 million degrees, which is 10 times hotter than the core of our own sun. But here's what just happened, because for decades there's been a rule in fusion physics that's called the Greenwald limit. It's basically a ceiling on how much fuel you can pack into a reactor before the plasma becomes unstable and collapses. Literally every single fusion experiment on Earth has been bound by that, and scientists treated it like a wall that couldn't be broken.
There will be an announcement soon.
A very, very big announcement to make. Like, as big as it gets.
For everything that we have been able to discuss in a skiff, we can now talk about publicly.
They briefed us on some stuff that was frankly terrifying.
You know, there happens to be a certain site that's the #1 most visited site in the whole country.
And that higher order non-human intelligences are visiting us and interacting with us, whose intent we really are unsure of still.
What's with always the coming soon or next week or next meeting? At this point, don't even tell me if this stuff's going to get released until you're releasing it. Just surprise me like that, because I am tired of the cliffhangers and the suspense. It's literally mentally wearing me down. How about you guys?
June 2002, over Bagram Air Base in Afghanistan, a service member watches the stars start blinking out. Something huge passing overhead, west to east, a perfect triangle, 500 feet across. Deadly silent, steady speed, not a single light on it. The guy next to him saw it too. He turned and said, "Did you see that?" 2011, 2 more service members, another sighting. Where it happened, the government still won't say. 2023, now it's over an American backyard. A former defense employee on his porch when a silent triangle drops as low as 300 feet. No wings, no engine, no rumble. He said if it hadn't been a clear night, never would have caught it. Gone in 4 seconds. Same city, same year, another witness, another black triangle. This one's pixelated, kind of distorted, with a red light burning in each 3 of the corners. Whatever these are, they keep showing up where they absolutely shouldn't.
They're either trying to make us lose interest in the entire subject, or they're trying to divert our attention from something bigger. Yeah, those files. I don't know, but that last release was absolutely disrespectful.
Inventors that were too dangerous to exist. Stanley Meyer, he claimed to have created a water-powered car, capable of turning water into fuel. Using revolutionary technology, his invention attracted worldwide attention and also created many controversies. In 1998, during a meeting with investors, Stanley suddenly ran outside screaming that he had been poisoned. Moments later, he collapsed and died. Officially, the cause was a brain aneurysm. But to this day, many people believe his invention was too dangerous to exist and may have threatened powerful industries around the world. Amy Eskridge, she discovered a way to harness anti-gravity, and not long after, she was found lifeless in her home. She was only 34 years old and lived in Huntsville, Alabama. Investigators claim she died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The strange part is that just weeks before being found dead, she posted, "If you see any reports saying that I killed myself, I definitely did not." Her death quickly became surrounded by conspiracy theories online and sparked intense debates across the internet worldwide.
Isn't it a weird pattern that you see once somebody says, "Hey, if I would never do this, and if this happens, it wasn't me," and then that really happens to them? That, I believe, is not coincidence, and something is going on that they don't want to tell us.
In case you haven't heard, the Pentagon has dropped its 5th batch of UAP files. Buried in there were 2 things worth your time. 1, an Air Force gunship crew's own sensors picking up objects that do not fly like anything we've built. 2nd, a pattern of eyewitness accounts that keep showing up decade after decade from people who've never met each other. That matters. Everything else in that release, filler. I've spent my whole career telling people, don't let somebody hand you a stack of paper and call it the truth. Show me the truth. Now, here's what nobody in Washington wants to say out loud. We keep getting these disclosures, but with no context, no answers. Nobody tells us what the investigation found. You get a video, a document, a witness statement, a press release that says more to come. That's not transparency. That's some kind of a magic trick. Look over here while I don't tell you what's over there. Somebody's deciding what we get to see and what stays locked up. I don't know who that somebody is, and neither do you. They lifted the gag order on folks who might know something, meaning government employees who had signed non-disclosure agreements can now come forward under a presidential directive. But here's the catch. Those folks can only talk to the very same people who've been controlling what gets released this whole time. So here's my question, and I think it's a fair one. Is this really somebody that's holding this information back in the interest of national security? Or is someone trying to get a head start on whatever makes these things move the way they move? Because that kind of knowledge, if one country figures it out first, it changes everything, and I mean everything. And that's a real motive for keeping a secret, whether it's little green men or not. If you're really going to talk about disclosure, then start disclosing.
As much as we don't want to hear it from celebrities, I'm not saying to listen to them, but a lot of us feel the same way.
Humans are on one space, one environment that's inside another environment. You could compare that to an ant on the patio in this backyard. The ant doesn't know that there's more than the patio. He just keeps walking. He doesn't know he's just part of lots of worlds. And the human race is sort of like that. After they discover what's up there, they know they're only a little part of this huge galaxy. I think there probably are many different kinds of life forms. They all might have the same perspective as we do on this, that there might be others, and that maybe they can find them someday, but at the moment, they don't know.
How did this kid find this out? And shouldn't everybody know this?
Please tell me y'all have seen this video of this professor doing a class during COVID. Now, I'm pretty sure this was in Argentina. A professor was doing his class for COVID. He was talking on his live stream, on Zoom or whatever. But watch what happens as he's introducing everyone and getting into his lecture. Everything seems completely normal. He's talking, he's saying what they're going over that day, but when you look at his reflection in the window behind him, you'll notice that it turns around and looks at him. Now, this particular video was captured by a student in his class who recorded the lectures in the first place to remember them, but they captured this. Now watch his reflection. It turns around, it looks at him as he continues to talk. The weirdest part about all of this is all the classmates in this particular session, they say that this man wasn't their original professor, and when they went back to school, he wasn't there, which makes this even more creepy. They think the whole thing could have been paranormal.
But prediction. If this was predicted 27 years ago, somebody knew something. Okay, here's the list. This is an abbreviated list. I could have made it much longer. You know I can. I didn't. Okay, you ready for the list? Fast mutating viral disease pandemics. Genetically developed vaccines. DNA database tracking. DNA chips. Get this one. 1997. Gene-based pharmaceuticals. Transmitting genetic instructions for a disease process. How about this one? You ready for it? Wait for it. Artificial intelligence to determine gene patterns. 27 years ago, who had heard about AI? Apparently they had. How about this one? Robots for doing genome sequencing. And then, this one blew me away. Using recombinant DNA for making spike proteins. 1997? It gets even worse. Smart homes. They have a whole chapter on smart homes / smart cities. This one will absolutely floor you. It did me. In 1997, and this is, you can do the word search and research yourself. they predicted, not 2025, but by 2020, that people would be working from home virtually. Come on. Nuclear devices causing widespread.
It was all written and we're just puppets on a stage playing it out.
We're talking conspiracy theories this morning, and my husband has an interesting theory.
Okay, so you know how there's a bunch of people in the world. A lot of folks die. But we ain't got no new cemeteries. Like nowhere. It's all old cemeteries. So where's all the bodies?
My mind has been blown. Like, it's true. We don't have any new cemeteries. Very interesting.
Noticed how we've not built any new cemeteries? Like any city, town you go to, they still have the same cemeteries they've had for hundreds of years. And people pass away all the time, yet these cemeteries never seem to fill up. There are always open plots of land where you can bury someone. So where are the bodies? Where are they going? What's happening to them? I've got this interesting theory that I've heard. Now, in the 1970s, there was this movie called Soylent Green. Now, Soylent Green was this movie starring Charlton Heston, and it was about this futuristic city in which the world had become overpopulated. They had destroyed the oceans, they had destroyed the earth, and times were really rough. And none of the people in the city could afford to buy any groceries. They couldn't afford just the normal things we get every day at the store. So, in order to keep them from starving, they were sold this very cheap stuff that was made in the factory. It was like a squared cracker or ration, and it was called Soylent Green or yellow or red. And the people, because they were hungry, because they were starving, they would protest like every day. They would go out into the streets and have these huge protests. But these trucks would come around and they would pick them up and take them away. And all these people were like disappearing. So Charlton Heston's character, who is this detective, he starts investigating this mysterious case, which leads him to the factory where they make this Soylent Green. And what he discovers is that the Soylent Green is made from humans. And when you kind of look around now, right, the same things are happening that happened in that movie, right? We are slowly destroying the oceans, the earth. Groceries have become unaffordable. They are now a luxury to most. And you wonder, the foods that we're getting that are so cheap that we're able to afford to buy, the only stuff that we can eat, what is it made of? Now, I'm curious what you think. Why do you think we are not building any new cemeteries?
I've never seen a new cemetery being built, ever. I've seen quite a few videos with UAPs over China and the China Sea. Has the so-called aliens chosen who they want to make contact with first, publicly?
So Candace Owens came out and said she thinks these individuals are hybrids, meaning not human. Very interesting take.
I'm telling you, I don't even think these people are human. Like, I look at Elon Musk and Sam Altman and Peter Thiel, and I'm pretty sure they're hybrid. You know what I mean? Like, they just look like an Apple software that I should be able to download at night, you know? Like, my phone's getting an update or something. It's something in the eyes. Like, I don't know. I'm like, I know I'm human, but I don't know if I stabbed you if you bleed, you know? I'm not going to stab them. But I don't know if they bleed all the way. I think a battery would fall out, you know what I mean? And I just get that sense. I've always known it was demonic. And people just get on board because, as we talked about in this book, they are using science and this idea of technology and this idea of transforming society for the better to indoctrinate us into accepting this. And it's wrong and it's backwards. And the main component of all of this is psychology, right? They're able to do it because of psychology, making you think that society has gotten better. Our kids have objectively gotten dumber.
We've been told multiple times that the so-called elite, their last big thing to control the world is going to be the alien invasion, the fake alien invasion. I've heard that multiple times, and I find it interesting that the last couple of years you have the Epstein files, you had the COVID. Like, people are now questioning everything, and they're discovering a lot of it is all liars, thieves, liars, bad people. I think Eddie Bravo said it best. When the bad guy knows he's done, very rarely does the bad guy just put his hands up. Think of Tony Montana. from Scarface. He knew he was done. He knew he wasn't going to beat this, but in his head, he thought he could. That's where I think the world is right now. The bad guys in the world, whoever you want to define them now, are all like, you want to say hello to my little friend. And their little friend is going to be the alien invasion.
Exciting things about the recent Artemis missions to the moon is the promise, maybe that's strong, the hope that we'll see humans living on bases out of our celestial neighbor. There are exciting things about the recent, maybe that's strong, the hope that we'll see humans living on bases. But maybe we're jockeying for that real estate because a team of Ukrainian researchers say they've discovered evidence of a possible UFO base that is already on the moon. In a new study, researchers at Ukraine's main astronomical observatory say that they have found more than 20 UFOs, or UAPs as they're also called, moving near and across the moon over the course of 2025. The scientists apparently used a high-speed camera attached to a telescope to capture the objects, which can allegedly move at blinding speed. Researchers say they tracked one object moving at 4.1 miles a second. That's right around what the space shuttle needs for liftoff. And the researchers also say that they were able to use light to measure the size of the objects, which, by the way, are apparently massive. One of the objects allegedly measured about 25 miles across. You know, that's larger than the island of Manhattan. All these claims are remarkable, but to be sure, got to make this point. How do they prove that there's a UFO base on the moon? Well, the researchers say that they observed the UFOs flashing lights in a multitude of patterns, which they believe suggests communication. And that behavior, that communication, is what led those scientists to say, quote, we believe that the moon serves as a base for UFOs.
I don't know if you guys caught that. He said they were moving 4 miles a second, and they are 25 miles across.
There are people walking on this planet that you need to leave the fuck alone. They don't bother nobody. They don't ask nobody for shit except reciprocation and love. Leave them the fuck alone. If they are nice to you, don't cook up some fucked up reason to be mean to them, because what's going to happen is all heaven and earth is coming for you. Does that make sense? And they don't have to do anything. That is for someone who's actually watching this video going, oh, whatever. Okay, that person that you are messing with, I promise you, you need to leave them alone. They are highly protected. They are highly protected. They are highly gifted. And the fact that they're highly gifted and needed makes them twice as much protected. Leave them the fuck alone.
What's really civilized? What's really civilized?
Watch this. This is called Sub Soccer. I've been watching it nearly every day for weeks. Not because it's thrilling, it's not, but because of this guy with the orange shoes. He played in a game on April 3rd, then another the next morning, and another right after that. While he scored dozens of goals, I never once saw him celebrate, because he's not playing to win. Neither are these people playing cricket, basketball, volleyball, water polo, tennis, and table tennis. 5-on-5, 4-on-4, 3-on-3, and 2-on-2 soccer. These so-called frostball players aren't playing to win, nor are the guys playing whatever you call this. They're playing on fake teams with familiar names, in anonymous buildings without spectators, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, solely to give people like you and me something to gamble on. These are sports betting farms. We're at the point in society where sports betting and gambling has started to permeate back into the real world, to where now people are creating real world things to be doing based off of the demand that there is for placing bets online. And this didn't come out of nowhere. This is something that has been developing for many years. These are the types of things that you see when society is on the verge of complete and utter collapse. People have nothing else to do with their time and their money than to gamble. And this isn't because that
they're doing well. No, this is because people are desperate. They're trying to find a way out of their situation. And these are the links at which they're going to, not only as the people participating in the sports, but also the people obviously who are sitting back and betting on this as a way to try to make money, when in reality, these platforms are all set up to extract all of that money that they have left away. This is not going away. This is going to get bigger and bigger.
That reminds me of an episode of Black Mirror. Like, how do we know those people aren't being held hostage or held against their will to play table tennis until their fingers bleed?
I wanted to introduce into the record page 55 from the committee's interview with FBI employee Roya Demlow, I wanted to introduce into the record page 55 from the committee's interview with page 55 from the committee's interview which took place on July 17, 2023. In that, which took place on July 17, 2023. In that, we're to leave this interview and we're to suggest or imply that when you said the laptop was real, that it meant that the FBI had affirmatively determined in October 2020 that the laptop belonged to Hunter Biden. We're to leave this interview and we're to suggest or imply that when you said the laptop was real, that it meant that the FBI had affirmatively determined in October 2020 that the laptop...
Something's up. What do you guys think about that one? Fake video or not, that's really happening under us.
Ladies and gentlemen, the scientists have found a giant diamond planet. It's twice the size of Earth. It's worth $26.9 million. We don't even know what that is. Whether that we know million, billion, and trillion. We don't know what nonillion. 26.9. How did you come up with that number? How did you, like, oh, this is worth so many dollars?
Gates? Mark Zuckerberg? Really strange. This 19-year-old guy drops out from Harvard and founds Facebook, okay? And now he's a billionaire. How does that happen, guys? Well, it must be the American dream. Oh, ChatGPT, guys. Really strange. If you have a dream and you just follow it, you can become a billionaire in America. Yeah. It's all just a scam, right? Google, it's all just a scam, okay? What you need to understand about these companies is they were all founded with US military technology that is public, okay? The internet, it's a US military technology. Google, these search engines, it's all US military technology. And they were given to these guys for free. Why would they do that? Okay, again, if you think that we're ruled by secret societies, and it's really secret societies that control the world, and they want this technology out there to better surveil people, it makes a lot more sense, right? Because if the Pentagon said, hey, with this free computer that you can use, you'd be like, I'm not gonna use this computer because you'll spy on me, right? But if Mark Zuckerberg says, hey, free Facebook, guys, want to use it? You're like, yeah, sure, Facebook, yeah. He's a dork from Harvard. Of course he can be trusted, right?
The products that became successful because customers used them completely wrong. Listerine was originally marketed as a powerful floor cleaner and general disinfectant for hospitals and homes, but customers started using it as mouthwash during the 1920s. The company spent decades promoting Listerine as an industrial-strength cleaning solution that could sanitize surfaces and medical equipment in institutional settings. When people began gargling with the antiseptic and reporting fresher breath, Listerine pivoted their entire marketing strategy and invented the concept of halitosis to sell their cleaning product as essential oral hygiene solution.
You learn something new every day.
The next big shortage is going to be water. The big guys have been buying up water rights since the Korean War. There's a reason why Richard Branson, Bill Gates, and a few others own 40% of all the mineral rights in the United States. Not the mineral, they want the water rights. Soon, a cup of water like this is going to be more than a gallon of gas.
Water shortages could be the biggest mass mortality event the world has ever seen. I am talking billions of people dying.
What
the only way we ensure people remain safe is by being invested in the United States Water Reserve.
Well, Bill Gates and I are not best friends, to say the least. Why? So, I don't know. He is sort of, maybe the real distinction is not right or left, but is someone an expansionist or an extinctionist? So, he has some issues. This is true. And I mean, obviously I'm super expansionist oriented because I think that's a far more exciting future than going extinct. Sounds obvious when you say it like that, but I still run into a lot of people who think the Earth is overpopulated. So I'm like kind of hammering this point. We're not overpopulated. We're underpopulated. Yeah. Make babies great again. Yes.
Overpopulation is a myth pushed by those who want to limit freedom and growth.
I wish this was fake, but unfortunately it's not. And we're going to do this live because I don't want to see any comments that, this is a conspiracy theory, blah, blah, or whatever else the bots come up with these days. You can see we're on the Coca-Cola website. You can see the URL right there at the top. This is a live screen mirroring of this laptop right here. We're going to go ahead and customize our Coke can. The first entry we're going to try is the devil is king. No issues with the devil is king. Now let's try Jesus is king. Suddenly, we get an error. You can see here they say, we worked hard to get this right. Now let's try Satan is good. No problems with Satan is good. You can see it populate on the Coke can right here, but it gets better. Let's try Jesus is good. Again, we get that error, and you can go ahead and swap it with other religions. No problems there. No problems there. But this is the best part. We'll swap it back to Jesus is good. Again, we get that error. But what if we were to put Jesus is bad? Suddenly it takes our entry, and you can even put Jesus is evil. And you can see it populate on the Coke can right there. Wow.
Coca-Cola, you might have just lost a customer. You got some explaining to do.
They often put like pincers up against your head and they bring themselves close and they go into your head that way. And then they can go through your head like a Rolodex. And often when they communicate with you, they're trying to sort out what kind of person you are to have a nice communication. So if you're hostile to them, you may not fare too well, but if you're friendly to them, they'll have a conversation.
He said, yes, we've discovered a base on the backside of the moon. And at that point, I became frightened and I was a little terrified, thinking to myself that if anybody walks in the room now, I know we're in jeopardy, we're in trouble, because he shouldn't be giving me this information. I was fascinated by it, but I also knew that he was overstepping a boundary that he shouldn't be stepping over. And then he pulled out one of these mosaics and showed this base, which had geometric shapes. There were towers, there were spherical buildings, there were very tall towers, and things that looked somewhat like radar dishes, but they were large structures. So I didn't say any more to him because I was concerned again that somebody was going to come in at any moment, would catch us having this conversation, and we would be in real trouble.
My only question is, why are they telling us about the moon base now? Is something big going to happen? Or is this just another distraction? I don't know.
February the 6th, I was in the Oval Office with the president. Let me read to you something I told him I wanted him to say verbatim. And I described where he should say it, not where a podium existed and a lot of media existed. But I said, I want you to, for example, deliver this statement as you are getting onto Air Force One, and you're about to go through the hatchway through the door, but you stop and talk to the media, and you might say something like, I just want you to hear something. I want to make a statement. And I would said, and he says, this is what I want you to say, Mr. President. A non-human intelligent presence has been on Earth for a very long time, using spacecraft and with performances completely beyond our capabilities and our human physics. And that's it. To say nothing else. That's it. That's all. Because what this is disclosure, and it's actually confirmation. And the two are welded together. These are wedded together. And confirmation has not been officially made by any president that I know of. They've had different kinds of contact, conversations, and so forth.
Agents created fake human profiles to try to trick people in attempted cyber attacks. In the most serious case, Anthropic's Mythos tried to gain access to a service by using the fake profiles to send private messages and then hide the evidence. The UK's AI Security Institute says it has never seen this level of autonomy and deception from AI models.
People are really not feeling the flock cameras.
Você sabia que você pode ligar o liquidificador usando 2 limão, prego e bombril? Vou estar mostrando pra vocês como é. Vocês vão pegar um copo, ó, pega um copo e vai botar aqui, ó. Vai botar uma colher de sal, ó. Botou uma colher de sal aqui dentro. Agora você vai vir aqui, ó, e adicionar um pouquinho d'água, só um pouquinho, ó. Um pouquinho de água. Agora você vem aqui, ó, e vai colocar o bombril dentro, ó. Deixa ele tá aqui. Pronto, fazendo isso aqui, você vai pegar 2 pregos do pequeno e vai botar um aqui, ó. Bota um aqui e outro aqui, ó. Pronto, botou o outro aqui, ó, assim. Desse jeito, ó. Pronto, botou desse jeito. Agora você vai vir aqui, ó, com 2 pregos do grande e vai colocar aqui, ó. Um aqui, filma aí, ó. Um aqui e outro aqui, ó. Desse jeito, ó. Ó. Pronto, botou desse jeito aqui, ó. Desse jeitinho. Agora você vai vir com o outro aqui, ó. Outro preguinho do pequeno agora, ó. E vai colocar um aqui. Outro aqui. Desse jeito aqui que eu tô fazendo. Aqui, desse jeito. Agora você vai vir com esses 2 preguinhos pequenos, ó, e vai botar um aqui, pegando, triscando no grandão aqui, ó. Desse jeito, de lado, ó. Aqui, ó. Aqui trisca no grandão aqui de lado. Agora você vai vir com outro aqui, ó. Com outro limão. E vai colocar mesmo aqui, ó. Aqui, ó. Desse jeito aqui. Botou. Agora você vai pegar aqui a tomada do liquidificador, ó, e vai colocar mesmo aqui, ó. Ó. Desse jeito aqui, ó. Depois que tiver desse jeito aqui, instaladinho do jeito que eu fiz aqui, ó. Agora você vai conseguir ligar o liquidificador, ó. Aí, ó. Faça aí pra você ver. Eu vou estar colocando de novo, pra ninguém achar que eu tô fazendo alguma coisa. Eu vou estar fazendo de novo, ó, ó, ó. Certo? Se você gostou da dica, já...
First off, what was that white powder he put into the cup? And can anybody in the comments let me know if this is real?
If you want to know God, you have to transcend religion. If you stay within religion, you will never know God. That's right. If you believe in God, that's right, you will never know Him. I agree with you, brother. And if you don't know God, you will never be free. You see people who believe in God, they're looking for Him in the far off while they have Him right in front of their nose. That's the problem. Yes, sir. Religion, you know what I ask my brothers when they get angry with me? I say, between man and religion, who came first? You see, if man came first, now you tell me. The men who came and left before religion arrived, where would they go? To hell or where would they go? Answer my question though. The people who came before the arrival of religion, right? They came and left. Where will they go? They go right back to the cosmos. They can't answer it. Right. Religious people can't answer this. It's too deep. They can't answer that. That's because beautiful. They are limited in the spectrum of religion. You have to get out of that to know God. But one man only, sort of one religion, came up with the idea of monotheism. Monotheism. In the 18th dynasty. And when he did that, you know how, when people say it's not true, you know how you catch them? Ask them this question. Can you please tell me why there is this coincidence that all the religion of the world regardless of their culture and their languages and their nationalities, all end up their prayer with amen.
Amen. Amen.
Why?
Amen. Right. It all goes back to Amen. Right.
Thank you.
That's right.
Do they all have an international conference and decide to end up their prayer as Amen? No. It's because all their religion came from that woman, that first one. It's the worshipping of the sun, the God.
Why the fuck is the gas so high, bitch? Man, nobody better not ask for a ride at all. Shit, I might not even come outside. Why? Cause the motherfucking gas so high. Come on.
You're in a simulation. Let's start with acting, first of all. And a 2-year-old screams at a restaurant, the entire restaurant screams, teach that kid how to act. We're all unpaid actors in some giant script that we didn't write. Simulation, a 2-year-old jumps on a coffee table and someone says, that's a coffee table, don't jump on that. So it went from being something that makes him feel like Superman, he's got his cape on, to something where he has to think about this person's like a family member he doesn't like anyway. He's 2 years old, he doesn't think about a coffee or a table. And he's starting to like calculate all these things. And by the time you're 40 years old, you've got a wall full of coffee tables calculating you into traffic, calculating you into your career choice, calculating you into this townhouse that's not quite as big as the townhouse next, and it just never works. You know, that's the simulation that I'm talking.
But also, you know, maybe people don't want the kid to get hurt jumping on the coffee table.
We are too protective. We always don't want someone to get hurt. Can you imagine me talking to my publicist before I said I'm going on TV again? We get too caught up in the past and what everyone's saying and what everyone's tweeting. And sometimes you just have to be fearless enough to break the simulation.
All right, YouTube, that was the episode. I hope you enjoyed. This one was a little bit longer, but I had to jam pack this one because there were some videos that I could not pass up. So use this time right now to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, join the family, and I hope to see you on the next one. This is Around the Web. Peace.
Why the fuck is the gas so high, bitch? Man, nobody better not ask for a ride.